I will now talk about the present perfect continuous. So what is the present perfect continuous? This is actually a mix between the present perfect I have done, and the present continuous I am doing. Good. So this is actually a combination of the two verbs. If you remember the present perfect, in the present perfect, I could say something like, I've been here for 5 hours. Good. So I have been here for 5 hours, or I have lived in Bromont for 5 years, etc. So it's something that I started in the past and that continues in the present. Good. Present perfect continuous will be exactly the same logic, but we will focus more on an action. Good. So I've been here for 5 hours. Well, this is more a fact than an action. Good. I have lived in Bromont. Yes, I live in Bromont, and I have lived here for 5 years. So this is more a fact. I am not into the action. Good. But if I tell you, I have been working for 6 hours. So I have been working. Now this is a present perfect continuous. So I use have been plus the ing, but the action of working, I'm focusing more on an action than just a simple fact. Good. So I have been is my auxiliary and working is my verb. So let's have a look at it a little deeper. And I will start with the structure of the present perfect continuous. Good. As I told you previously, we always use have been or has been for he, she, it plus the ing. So if we check out the first 3 examples into the affirmative form, we have been talking for an hour. For an hour, we have a time focusing, well, actually a duration focusing. Good. I'm focusing on before, so for the last hour, and now I'm still talking. Okay, so I'm focusing on the duration and the fact that it's still going on at the moment. Good. He has been waiting for a while. Same logic we focused on before, for a while, and he's still waiting. They have been traveling since January. Same thing. Great. Now, if we have a look at the negative of these sentences, so we put not between have and been or hasn't been. Okay. We have not been talking for an hour. He has not been waiting for a while. They have not been traveling since January. Now, if we check the structure of a question, in the interrogative form, we inverse the subject and the auxiliary have or has. Have we been talking for an hour? Has he been waiting for a while? And have they been traveling since January? Great. So the uses of the present perfect continuous, we use the keywords so far, up to now, for, since, recently, lately, all day, these days, etc. So you see that we use exactly the same keywords as in the present perfect. Well, actually on my screen, it should be written present perfect continuous because we are in the continuous now. But in my situation, the emphasis is put more on the length, the duration, and the action. Good. If you check at situation 1, the action has started in the past and it's continuing now. We've been waiting for an hour, we're still waiting. The focus is on an hour. The emphasis is on the length. Okay. Second, the action has just finished and we have some signs of it. Good. This is the second use of the present perfect continuous. Like if I say, I have been cooking. Good. I have just finished. Good. I have finished, but it has finished, well, not long ago. Good. But it smells good, so we have a sign of it. We have indication that I have been cooking, good? That I have cooked previously, good? So the emphasis is on the action, good? It is also possible to use the present perfect. I have cooked, good? It's possible to say that. So if I say that, I have cooked, that means that, yes, the action is finished, but I'm focusing on the fact that I have cooked and not on the action. I have been cooking, we focus more on the action that I was doing just before. Good. Let's see some more examples. So the present perfect continuous used as something that started in the past and is continuing, we're still in the action. We have, well, a lot of examples here. So they have been arguing about the marketing strategy for a month. Good. We say they've been arguing because they are still arguing. The argument is not finished. Great. So if you see on the graphic here, so it started here at a point, and in the present, it's still ongoing. It's not finished. Second example, she has been auditing the financial records since 7 this morning. She's still doing it. We have been trying to find a solution all day. Good, same logic. I have been running this company for 10 years now. Good. I haven't been doing much of exercise lately. He hasn't been complaining since he came back from holiday. Good. Negative, but it's still ongoing. You haven't been eating much recently. How long have you been working in the marketing department? Or how long have you been waiting for me? So we focus on how long, the length. Have you been talking on the phone since you arrived? So we focus on since you arrived and now. Great. Now we have a quick reminder of for and since. So for is used with a length. So for 3 days, for 2 hours, for 5 weeks, for 6 years, for a long time, for a few days. And if we compare with since would be used with the beginning. So when, the moment, when it started. Good. Like since Friday, since 5 o'clock, since November 3rd, since last year, since yesterday, and since I came. So you can have since plus a moment or since and an action that happened in the simple past. Great. Now let's see, when we want to focus on the action. So something that has just finished. Good. It finished not too long ago. So we have been doing so much work. Now I'm tired. Good. So when we have an action focus, we always see the result. Good. We can see the result. We can feel the result right now. Good. That's why we say now I'm tired, because I've been doing so much work. Right? So I can feel it now still. It's like if it was still ongoing. And that's why we want to focus on the action. Now the room is shining. We have an indication of the result. The room is cleaned. It's shining. Have you been cleaning? Good. So in my mind, I have an indication that you might have been cleaning before I arrived. Good. The ground is wet. And I guess it has been raining. Good. If I sit at the ground, I go outside, the ground is wet. So I guess that it has been raining. Great. So it is just finished not long ago. And I have a sign of the result. It's now here you are. We've been looking for you for the last hour. Good. So if I say somebody that I've been looking to for the last hour, I really want to focus on the action, not only a simple fact. Good. I want to put more emphasis. into the action. All right, and the last one, he is sweating. He has been running. He's been running. Good, because we see clearly, like he's sweating. Good. All right. So in that context, we can see the result, but we're still focusing on something that happened before, and well, it is going on or it is just finished. Great. Now, if we compare the present perfect and the present perfect continuous, good. So on the first side, on the left side, you see the present perfect. Present perfect, we will focus more on the fact that it's finished, or we will focus on the result. Well, actually, what I have done. Good. And then on the present perfect continuous, we will focus on the length, the duration, or the action. Great. What we mean by focusing on the result. Let's see the first example. I have read half of my book. Good. So I'm focusing on the quantity of the book that I have read. I have read half of the book. I am not focusing on the time that it took me to read the book, but on the quantity. Good. So I can say, for example, I have read the book. That means that is finished. Good. I have read half of my book. I have the quantity, the result. Good. Let's compare on the right side with the present perfect continuous. I have been reading for half an hour. So in that case, we focus on half an hour. This is the length. How long have I been reading? Half an hour. So you see the difference between the result and the length. The focus is not at the same place. Great. Let's have a look at the second example. We have eaten a lot. Good. So here we focus on the fact that yes, we have eaten a lot and the result a lot. Good. And it's finished. But on the other side, we have been eating since noon. So since that time, we have been eating. We are still in the action. Great. And in the last example, have you ever listened to that kind of music? So I want to know, in your life, have you ever experienced to listening to that kind of music? Again, focusing more on the fact. Good. On the fact that you have that result or not. Good. And on the other side, we'll say, how long have you been listening to that music? In that case, I don't want to know if you have listened to that music or not, because I know that you have listened to that music, but I want to know how long. Good. So I'm focusing more on the action that is going on right now. Great. All right. So the present perfect continuous, this is actually a complex verb tense because we have two elements going on. The idea of the perfect, that it was going on before, and the idea that it is ongoing, it is going on right now. Good. But if you watch TV, if you watch a lot of series in English, if you hear English speakers, you will hear a lot the present perfect continuous because we often focus on what is going on right now. Good. And how long we've been doing that. Great. So thank you for listening.